Welcome back to Our Healer, Our Protector with Ryan Reichert and Lisa
Sander.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to the show. And we're super excited because last week was hard conversations. This week, I wrote down fun conversations. I don't know where we're going to go with that, but I know that there was a lot of accountability last time. And this time around, it's the other side of the coin where we need to figure out what we want to do when it comes to having fun, enjoying each other, and I'll turn it over to Lisa for the rest of it.
Okay, so I have some Bible verses I would like to share with everybody. Enjoy life together. Enjoy life with the wife whom you love. All the days of your vain life that he has given you under the sun, for that is your portion in life. This suggests making time for shared enjoyment is a divine recommendation. Laughter and joy. Proverbs 17:22. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Cultivating humor and laughter keeps the relationship healthy and joyful. Physical intimacy and pleasure, Song of Psalm 2:16, 7:10-12. The book describes deep, playful romance. My beloved is mine and I am his, and similar passages celebrate joy in physical intimacy. Nourish and cherish, Ephesians 5:29-33. Calls for husbands to cherish their wives, which includes creating a supportive, joyful, and loving environment. So, like we talked about, date nights, shared activities, shared laughter, and physical touch are all very important. And it even talks about it in the Bible. I think it is so important to have playful and joyful times. When you are stressed out and you're coming home from work and you're both exhausted and tired, I always think teasing is a good way to come back from your hard working day and finding time to tease each other and tease each other in a healthy way. Tease each other in a way that enhances each other and not cuts each other. And when I say cuts, don't call them by their teasing them about being their mother or father. You think it's joyful teasing, but it might hurt. So just remember who the person is and find their best qualities and enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely, the case, right? Where we have respect for one another and then you allow teasing to be playful in such a way that it isn't condescending and not hurtful. Trying to think of, different ways that things, what do you truly enjoy? Like when it comes to the imagination to go out and have slices of pizza and ice cream. And when the ice cream's like really good, like overindulge in it and have so much fun as you walk the streets of whatever town you're in. And you have to be intentional when it comes to it. It's definitely something that can't be a last minute. It has to be planned. And sometimes being spontaneous is certainly more fun. I get that. But I believe most people probably have busy life schedules and allow the rest of their lives to get in the way of their partnership, their marriage. And, wouldn't you want that to be kind of at the top of your list when it comes to this side of things, as opposed to last week's conversations that are more the hard conversations?
You know what also is fun? Just turning on some music and dancing. That is so important for men and women. If women are allowed to be more feminine and enjoy themselves, I can speak for myself. When I'm in my feminine moment, I can play, I can pretend, I can dance, and I can be that little girl that dreams. This last weekend, we went to a family wedding. Ryan and I haven't danced in a while, and I don't know why, because we enjoy it very much. And it was so fun to be in the atmosphere, of course, of happy people at a wedding, right? Everyone's excited and celebrating life. And Ryan and I got on the dance floor, and the way, Ryan, you were looking at me and playing and dancing, I was laughing so hard. And that was with you. And that made me playful. And we had so much fun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't we do this more often? It was so enjoyable. If we could go out dancing and feel like it's a wedding of celebration. Weddings are amazing because it brings you together. It's a celebration of two people. And this is what we need to do in life, people. You need to celebrate your partner and remember why you fell in love and all the happy stuff. And it was just you two at the beginning. And at the end, it's going to be you two also when the kids are grown. If you have kids, they do leave the nest. So start cultivating that date night before the kids graduate. So you continue to grow and find each other. There's so much in life in the small things, like Ryan talked about, like going to get that slice of pizza and finding that place and then sharing ice cream. Those little moments are so amazing, and having the deep conversations and laughing at each other and having nicknames and teasing each other is so fun also. So find the magic back in the relationship. And, Ryan, you were talking to me about before we started this, it's hard. Ryan and I are not married, but we were both married to someone else for over 20 some years. Ryan, you were talking about this is kind of hard because we talk about being Christians, and Ryan and I don't live together. And Ryan, you were struggling because you're like being together and not being married and having these conversations. But I told you, I'm like, we are both married for over 20 years and we want to do what's right. And we know how to be married for over 20 years. That's a long time. Not all of it was when people get a divorce. There were so many good things in our marriage, and we love those other people, and that was real. So I just want everyone that has been divorced, remember back in your relationship. I'm so proud of you of how long each couple were married for, and be proud of that. And you were in love. And then when you don't grow together and don't have the same dreams, and keep cultivating that, keep talking about that, keep on going on the dates, having those conversations, that's when you grow apart. You got to be each other's partner. So it is okay that we are having these conversations. I am proud of Ryan, you and your former spouse. I'm proud of me and my former spouse, all that we did and tried to do. And you know what? Here we are. We're divorced. We're dating. We're trying to do the right thing. And this is how this podcast came together. Ryan and I, we're growing together. We are making life together and making memories and trying to show our children to do the right thing. You can move in together. You can't move in together, whatever is helpful to you. Ryan, we just had a conversation with a lady by the pool in Arizona. It was just the three of us at the pool, and we opened a conversation, and she opened up, and she came from a divorce and is married now. And she talked about the struggles. Was it right to move in with her boyfriend at the time, or she have waited? No one knows the right answers, and I don't know what the right or wrong is, but it's so important. And I love having conversation with strangers and learning from them, and to make us stronger to do the right thing. And we want to be good examples for our kids. Yes, they're not reality. Of course, they'd want their mom and dad together, but we can still make things right and show them love and how it flourishes and what it can all become.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. It's the dynamics of this is all newfound territory and starting over and what that looks like, and basically trying to establish the areas that maybe were of lack in, other relationships. So to me, yeah, today it's certainly, I think going back to, that conversation we had in Arizona was befitting to understand that you have both sides of that. You have the times when, if, for them, the children were little and it seemed easier. And then at the same time, it just made it that much harder, as the children grew older because of the relationship that each of them had and how they viewed, the new person in the relationship, be it the woman that came in to it and the family that those dynamics were different. Like for us, not living together and the girls finishing up school, it's one where there's no competing when it comes to, time together. If Grace is at your house, I'm not around because then it allows time for you guys to actually spend the week together, and then vice versa, Annabelle being here when she is here. So those are the dynamics I think that you really have to, view upon, or do you become jealous because, if you are together, you have to split time. And what does that look like, especially early on in a relationship where, there's different sides to everything that goes on. And do you have the ability not to have the hard conversations like we talked about last week, but to enjoy, things when you're sharing, and what does that look like? Are you emotionally mature enough to share? Because just because we're the adults doesn't always mean that we have it all figured out when it comes to emotional maturity.
Yeah. I was just reflecting on what you were saying, and I was thinking about that, the woman in Arizona. And I think about some of my friends' relationships. And, there is a time everyone, the children have to share their mom or dad with a new person is really hard. If you don't start a healthy relationship, because you, like Ryan, you loving me and liking me, and I love and liking you, our children aren't going to have the same eyes as we do. They're not going to have the same heart and the connection that we do to each other. All they see is someone else is coming into my mom or dad's life, and who is this person, and they're taking time away from me. And then we come in, and if you are living together and now the children are seeing that this person's taking time away from them, and vice versa, or the kids are taking time away from your partner, and it's new roles, it's hard. It is really hard, because in a relationship, a man and woman are supposed to put each other first. But when you come from a divorced family, and it's not easy. In a perfect world, we want our families to blend and all love each other and have this new big family. It's not like that. You got to take your time. Ryan, I think we've talked about this before, but we wanted the future and not the now. If it was up to me, Ryan, I'm so glad you guided me through this. I wanted, all the kids are going to like us, and we're just going to be this big, happy family. I wanted that so bad. And you were so good leading me to pause, and it'll come. If it takes a year, 2 years, or 5 years, we'd rather have the future than the now. If we would have pressed for the now, we might not have what we have now. So I want the future with the grandchildren and all that. I'm so glad that we waited. I mean, our kids didn't meet for each other for 2 years. The lady in Arizona, she's like, your kids didn't meet for 2 years. And we're like, no, it took 2 years. It is so important to let them guide how they want the relationships to happen. And they also want to see that we're sticking together. They don't want to invest in another family if we're not going to stay together. They want to see consistency. They want to see, Ryan, your kids want to spend time with you. Because why would my kids want to spend time with you if your own kids aren't spending time with you? Right? And that's a good question. And same with me. So until you can get your family, like your kids spending time with you, you shouldn't expect someone else's kids to spend time with you. We're going to get our own family united before we blend.
Yeah, you definitely hit it on the head there. Everything nowadays is immediate gratification. Like, let's think about this. Like, if I open this thing up right now and you want to log into pick an app, right? Whatever that's going to look like, and it doesn't go right to it. Like, think about it. We're like, oh, it's got to be the internet and my signal. Remember the days like when you're walking around, like, oh, I'm trying to get a signal here, like kind of thing. And it's like, dude, like, just take a deep breath. Like, there's nothing that needs to happen right now. And walking it back, you hit it on the head. Like, yeah, if your own children don't want to spend time with you, why would they spend time with basically a stranger in it all? And those are the eaches. Now, for us, it is a little different having older children. So, there's certainly that dynamic. Yes. And that dynamic does come into play of when and where they can make their own decisions for themselves, and when can or can't they. But I think that's where we understand the dynamics of, sure, you want that hope to start over, right? The hope, and then the faith that leads to the love, and everything else in the relationship, and moving on in life, and trying to leave the past in the past, where it should stay. And so those go back to, as much as we wanted to talk about fun conversations, and I do believe this is fun, but it's hard conversations to have, because it is like very exciting to see where it can go once you get past the harder conversations. Like it can lead to, you know, doing escape rooms or whirly ball or going to hockey games, whatever is in the future that you're trying to establish. But the thing of it is, when you start to interject too soon, like, you know, let's live together, or, you know, let's do this. What does that look like? Because the kids are there, and you got to think about, like, are you mature enough to handle their kids, right? Not your kids, their kids. Same. I mean, no different. And what does that look like? How much strain does that put on your relationship together? It's too much, and you notice that all you are doing is having hard conversations over and over and over again. So I guess what we're trying to, you know, really come down to is knowing that it all goes back to communication once again. Hence why the first two episodes in this teaching are about conversation, because if you do not have the ability to converse in the hard times or even in the good times and realize like what that looks like, it probably is going to be a struggle for a long time. And what does that look like? What does a struggle for a long time mean? Like, do you have the patience and the persistence and the emotional maturity to go 2 years, you know, without this happening, without this coming to fruition because of needing immediate gratification? I look at it, take a long, hard look in the mirror and see what you really want. Because I think when I reflect on it today, like, it's only because I'm okay with being by myself now today and truly good with that, you know, that then I can have more and more people in my life and everything else, because you're not afraid of the loss that you once were, you know, being abandoned, and what does that look like? So I think that is the same thing that our children go through, is having someone take us away from them, right?
Yeah, it's a grieving process. You're grieving the loss of your united family. Your core family has, as for children, it's ripped away. Even for us, it's ripped away. We got to find our new beginning. It's scary. It's scary for everyone. But what's wonderful, if you really, truly put God in control and you pray every single day and you pray for your former spouse and your children and yourself and everybody around. I have seen miracles in the last 2 years. Look for the miracles. Look for the happy. I know to this day, going to have a slice of pizza and sharing ice cream and the beautiful trips that we take and looking at the mountains and reflecting on everything in life. Ryan and I climbed Camelback this last weekend. It was hard, but you know what was fun? Doing the hard with you, Ryan. And just that you had my back and I had yours, and we would take breaks with each other. And Ryan, you know, it was amazing. And people do this in life. We got to the really hard part. I mean, well, it was all a little bit hard, but each section, he's like, Lisa, just take 10 more steps. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do 10 more steps. Ryan, those 10 steps led me to the top. And thank you for that. And if we can just do 10 more steps in life, take whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, do 10 more phone calls, do 10 more I'm sorry's, do 10 more, the 6 steps that you talk about in kindness, Ryan, 10 more excuse me's. What are they? Excuse me, I'm sorry, thank you.
It's smile, please, thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, repeat. But yeah, it's the same. I think it's the dynamic of whatever you want in life. If you were 1,000 no's away from, I don't know, becoming nurse of the year or something, I don't know what, like, it doesn't matter. Like, let's just say, like, I guess for me, if I was 1,000 no's away from selling out the next group coaching class that I have in March, you know, like, how fast would you like go to get the no's so you can sell it out, right? It's that dynamic of what are we so afraid of? I mean, I think about, I'll air my dirty laundry out all the time, right? Like, I never, like, a lot of time I don't feel like doing something. Maybe before this podcast, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just not feeling it. And you just have to start. That's the thing, right? Like, you know, take a couple no's, 10 no's. Next thing you know, you're at 100 no's. Next thing you're at 900 no's. Like, and then you're at 990, and then you need your last 10, and you get there and you're like, oh, wow, look at that. Sold out class. Once again, like we did it, like we took care of it all. But it takes a little bit to get the engine going at times because we're human. We crave comfort. We crave an extra slice of pizza when it tastes really good. We crave an extra scoop of ice cream. Ice cream's always good. Pizza's always good. So I don't know why I'm using those two. Like you're always going to want more of those. But when we think about it, that's a side of it. And for me, Lise, you just being like, you got this. Let's go. Let's get going. Let's start. Let's have fun. And that's what it takes, right? You need your cheerleaders in life. And sometimes, that can't be us. So it needs to be somebody that, you trust and they know when you're not feeling it, like what it takes to get you going. And so that today, I believe, is probably taking us full circle into starting off at fun, kind of going through a little bit of a valley in time and space of what different decisions we make when we're trying to start over in life. And you can still end it with lots of pizza, lots of ice cream, which to me is, I don't know, there's not much anything better than that. And I'll leave it with you to take us home.
Yes. Well, I have something that I wrote and I would like to share it. I was reflecting on climbing the mountain. So I wrote something. Today is Tuesday. So how about a tip for Tuesday?
Sounds good.
Climbing Camelback. Keep climbing as the uncertainty of the destination and the challenges is comparable to our life's journey. God does not intend to reveal the hardships, or we may not reach our destination. God aims for us to discover our fortitude. That's about life. If we knew what our future held and all the hardships and all the hard that we are going to have to go through, we wouldn't do it. Just like climbing the mountain, the unknown of where the top is. I'm like, when are we going to get to the top? I'm so glad I didn't know when the top was going to come because I might have quit. Don't quit in life. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on your relationships, your partner. And if you are married and you're watching us and you want to make it to the top of the mountain with your husband or wife, grow together, climb together, have each other's back. And with that, you will grow in your wealth. And that's what I want to help. This is how I want to help with everybody in life. And I hope our podcast brings joy and perspective. Brian and I are learning as we are going. If you've seen, I always say this, go back to our very first podcast and see us now, how far we've come with each other. And what I love is Ryan and I keep communicating. We keep talking. We talk about our goals. We're doing it together. And we just going to keep climbing the mountain for a very long time.
Well, sounds good. With that, let's make sure you head on over to ourhealerourprotector.com. Make sure you see Lisa at Lisa Sander 21 on all the social medias or Ryan T. Reichert. And we'll catch you guys next Tuesday and have an amazing week. Love y'all.
God bless. See you.